I've been around for a long time. I've been around so long, I saw those first guys land on the moon all those years ago on a little black and white TV, 5. Some of you are nodding your heads. I've been around so long, I thought I knew myself pretty well. I thought I knew who I was, but a couple months ago, I started finding out things that made me question who I am, and I want to share that with you today. I went on the internet, which might have been a mistake, and I saw a map, and I like maps, so I looked at this map, and this is a map of Appalachia. And I thought Appalachia extends from way down in Mississippi to way up in New York State, and it covers much of Pennsylvania, including northeastern Pennsylvania, where I was born, up in the coal country. Nobody ever told me I was born in Appalachia. I thought, that's interesting. And then I looked at the map, and it extends all the way west to cover the southwestern part of Ohio, Cincinnati, where I grew up. I spent 20 years here, and nobody ever told me I was living in Appalachia. So it made me think, well, does that make me Appalachian? So I went back to the internet, which might have been a mistake, and looked up Appalachian, and it told me, well, there's 2 ways you can pronounce it. You can say Appalachian or Appalachian. It's up to you. I learned Appalachian, so that's what I use. It said Appalachian means you're from Appalachia. Yeah, I kind of knew that. And it said Appalachian is what we call people now when we don't want to call them hillbillies. In the course of like 4 minutes, I went from being a California guy that grew up in the Midwest to being possibly a hillbilly. It made me think and question myself, and I started thinking about, well, are there signs that I should have been aware of? And I always kind of tended toward facial hair and flannel shirts, and I wear suspenders, and I always thought that's just because my pants fall down without them, but maybe there's more to it than that. And if you guys remember back to the 60s, well, you probably remember in the 80s, for a brief period of time there was a thing called the mullet, right? A fashionable hairstyle. I had one of those. And I don't usually talk about it, but I still think they're kind of cool. So as I had all these things running through my mind, I would go about my day, and but it would keep coming back. Am I a hillbilly or not? I was up doing a house concert with this guy who grew up in Virginia, and he had known from the very start he was a hillbilly, and he admitted it, and he embraced it. And this guy, he had the epic mullet. It was all business in front and party all the way down the back. And he tried to explain to me the difference between a hillbilly, which he was, and a redneck, which he definitely wasn't. And I couldn't quite understand the fine distinctions that were very clear in his mind. So I can't explain the difference to you. But he did say that if you call him a hillbilly, he'll be happy. If you call him a redneck, you're going to have to fight him. All sorts laughed and said, Martin, that sounds like something a redneck would say. But I didn't want to have to fight him and all his cousins, probably his granny too. But his embrace thing of his hillbilliness made me think, well, maybe I should just come out of the hillbilly closet and just admit that maybe I'm a hillbilly. So I thought I would start easy, and I went over to my wife, Mary Jo. I said, Jo, I think I might be. She looked at me and said, a hillbilly? Yeah. She said, man, fine, just as long as we don't have to go chase your roots up some holler somewhere. But fair enough. So that went pretty well. So I called up my daughter in Omaha. I said, Roseanne, I think I might be a hillbilly. She says, Dad, if you're just figuring that out, everybody else already knew that a long time ago. So, whoa, okay, well, maybe that's who I am. So I was prepared to come up here today and tell you, hello, my name is JT, and I'm a hillbilly. And that was going to be the end of my story, but I went on the internet yesterday, which was definitely a mistake. I wanted to go find that map and just make sure I was telling the truth about the whole thing. And I did not find that map. I found a lot of maps of Appalachia, but all of them cut off just before Cincinnati, showing Cincinnati just outside the bounds of Appalachia. So now I don't know who I am, and I don't have an ending for my story, and I don't know how to get off the stage without having an ending. I went to Aunt Leanne. I said, Aunt Leanne, I don't have an ending for my story. She said, it's a story. You have to have an ending. I said, I don't have one. She says, okay, well, here's what you do if you don't have an ending for your story. You make up a moral. Okay, I'll make up a moral. So, the moral to the story is, no matter how old you are, it's never too late to learn more about yourself. That doesn't seem like it went over very well. Okay, here's another moral. Never trust the internet. Okay, so we got that done. I've got another little piece of this story. I've got a song for you about one day in my life where I traversed the whole of Appalachia from east to west, getting back to my home in Cincinnati. Are you up for that?
Sure.
Right. If I start singing and sounding like a hillbilly, well, you just don't have to live with that. I'm exerting my cultural prerogative on that. This is called Carolina. I remember Carolina in the early morning glow. I remember my days hitchhiking. These are in the days of hitchhiking. This is back before mullets, but after the moon landing. Remember my days hitchhiking and the glory of the road. I set out at the break of daylight with my backpack and my thumb, trying to get to Cincinnati by the time the darkness comes. Take me, Carolina, carry me back home. Take me down the highway, far as you can go. I caught my first ride within 10 minutes. There was a pistol on the ski. Had a breakdown on the mountain, had to call for help on the ski beat. Down through Gatlinburg and into K-Town, country music on the radio. Tennessee troopers out doing their duty, looked me over and let me go. Take me, Carolina, carry me back home. Take me down the highway, far as you can go. Standing there along the roadside as those drivers passed on by, sometimes honking, sometimes waving, mostly trying to avoid my eye. Bunch of rednecks with a jar of moonshine dropped me way on down some lonesome road. College girl in a beat-up Beetle had some sympathy and drove me home. I remember Carolina with the sun sinking low. I remember my days hitchhiking and the glory of the road. So take me, Carolina, carry me back home. Take me down the highway, far as you can go. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.